Welcome to International Trade and Info Channel, your gateway to mastering international trade. Whether you're a trader, exporter, or contractor, we bring you the insights and strategies to expand your global reach. Subscribe and unlock the potential of global markets.
Hi, you're welcome back to my channel. So now we are gradually moving on to the end of the review of Incoterm 2020, which are 11 rules that we have been discussing. And then today we are looking at the 8th on the list. And what is the name? Cost, insurance, and freight. So under this rule, which is CIF, under this rule, the seller delivered the goods, clear for export, on board the vessel at the port of shipment, pay for the transportation of the goods to the port of destination. Also, he obtained and pay for a minimum insurance coverage for the goods. Also, the buyer assumes all risk once the goods are on board the vessel for a main carriage. However, seller do not carry on any risk or cost until the freight arrives at the main port of destination. CIF apply only to ocean, land, and waterways transportation only. It is commonly used for bulk cargo, for oversized and overweight shipment. So I want to move on now. I want to make a mention of the duties or the obligations of seller and buyer in this as far as this CIF Incoterms rule is concerned. The first responsibility or obligation of the seller is for the seller to make the goods, the commercial invoice and document available. And the second one is export marking and packaging. You know, the seller need to make available or mark the goods and package the goods very well for export standard. The third one is export licenses and custom formalities. Everything that will that will show that the buyer has prepared to move the goods offshore must be registered in the ports, and also every other licenses that needed must be obtained by the buyer, by the seller rather. So the fourth one is pre-carriage and delivery. Any cost that has to do with pre-carriage before the goods get on board is the seller that will make arrangement for that. The fifth one is loading charges. Loading charges, even from the seller's factory to the port, any loading charge that is required, or maybe from warehouse, is the seller that will be responsible. So the sixth one is delivery at the named port of destination. So seller must ensure that all these goods are on board and are on their way to the named port of destination. You know, and then the second to the last is the proof of delivery. You know, seller needs to provide the proof of delivery to the buyer in order to get paid. And then the last one of the responsibility or obligations of the seller is that the seller must make every inspection that will be needed for this good to be shipped available. You understand? And then now move on to the responsibility of the buyer. Buyer, once they receive the proof of proof of delivery rather, as buyer will go ahead to make payment. So another thing that the buyer needs to do is to make import formalities and custom levies and fees arrange for import formality and custom fees and taxes in its own country, so that it will be able to do what, move the goods to its own factory or warehouse. And the last one is any other import clearance that is required, or inspection certificate that will be needed for the goods to be moved from the port of discharge to the buyer's factory. Is the buyer that will be responsible for that. So let's go right now to show you how the goods flow from the warehouse or factory of the seller down to when it gets to the buyer's warehouse. We are going to show. All right, right here on the flow, you can see the flow of the goods from seller to the buyers, and then the seller's responsibility and seller's cost, or seller risk and seller's cost. The risk stop when the goods are on board of the vessel, and then the cost span to on board the ship at the port of discharge. So from there, every other thing now rests on the buyer. Look at the risk, the buyer's risk and the buyer's cost. From where the seller's risk and cost ends, that's where buyer's risk and cost starts. And just like every other one that I've been showing, is only everything is constant from seller's location, export formalities and fees, pre-carriage, not unloaded. All those ones seems constant, but when we are talking about the risk and the cost for seller and buyer, you can see that they vary per this rule. This one is CIF, and then if you can go back and check all those other videos that I've made, you will see the differences. And all this explanation is just for you as a trader or international player to know how to negotiate which Incoterm rule that will favor you as an importer or as exporter, and that is it. And those are the kind of information that you are going to be getting on this channel. So I want you to subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, and also if you have any question, I will be ready to take it on the comment section. All right, thank you for watching. I will see you in another video.